Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with a speculation video. So, yesterday on Maxis Monthly, they announced that there's going to be 3 new packs coming out over the next 6 months. Basically, it's one of each pack type. 1 expansion pack, 1 game pack, and 1 stuff pack. No further details about them were revealed, nothing about the themes, or what order they're coming out, or in what month, so we're just gonna have some fun speculating about what could possibly happen. So, to keep things simple to start, I'm just going to try and predict what the order is and what months will get these packs. So, I have been saying for a while that I think we are going to get an expansion pack in June, just like we did with Seasons last year. So I have 3 reasons for this. So EA Play would be a good place to show off an expansion pack that would be coming out pretty soon, and EA Play is happening in June just like it did last year, and they showed off Seasons there. And the second reason, I think, is because of the Legacy Edition that is planned for June. So because of the Legacy Edition, they are going to be dropping support for newer content past June on 32-bit systems and non-Metal Max systems, because then you will need a 64-bit system in order to keep playing with further game updates and content. So it would really make a lot of sense to me for them to go with this radical upgrade to just do like an expansion pack that would require a little bit more from your system, especially if they were to introduce an expansion pack with another world, because then you're introducing more saves, and then you're going to need more space for those save files and a bit more RAM probably to run all of those sims. So there is that to keep in mind. And it is a little bit similar to how last year, months in advance, they gave us advance notice of a game update that was going to come out that was going to break a whole ton of mods. And I was thinking, oh, well, I guess it would make sense to release that right before an expansion pack. And, well, sure enough, that was when Get Famous came out. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is what's happening again. The last reason that I have is that before an expansion pack comes out, there tends to be a dry period in which there's no paid DLC released. There might be some new free content, but no new packs. And the last pack that we got was Strangerville in February. So I think it would make sense if a dry period ended up being what was going on from March, April, May, and then some of June. I think that would be enough time for that to be considered a dry period before a new expansion pack is out. And yeah, I really don't think they're going to put any more packs out during this time when they're prepping the Legacy Edition. So I think expansion pack 7 in June is pretty likely. So then with the game pack and the stuff pack, I think that's a lot more up for debate. It really could go either way, but I think what might happen is that the stuff pack will come before the game pack, and the game pack would follow 1 or 2 months later. They do seem to like dropping a lot of content close together, and assuming there's going to be another dry period leading into what will hopefully be an expansion pack coming out in the fall, then it might actually be a pretty busy summer, which I'd be really looking forward to, because summer in general is a very slow time for gaming. But I think the stuff pack will come out maybe late July, so it still gives a little bit of time for the expansion pack to breathe, and for EA and Maxis to gloat about the expansion pack, be like, oh yeah, this expansion pack is out, it's so good. And yeah, then the stuff pack can come out in late July, and then the game pack could follow pretty closely, maybe mid-August, and then that would still leave September, October, and probably most of November before expansion pack 8 would come out. And I do think it would be a little bit smarter to release the game pack after the stuff pack, because if we're going to go into yet another dry period, it would be good if we at least left it off at the note of it being a game pack, which would help tide us over a little bit better than a stuff pack, since a game pack has a little bit more meat to it, and I guess it would also be a little bit similar to how Strangerville is kind of here to help tide us over right now, at least for those of us who like that sort of gameplay anyway. But now we finally get to the fun stuff. What do I think these packs will actually be about? Well, I still think University is not going to be the next expansion pack. I mean, it would be great if it was, because then people can finally stop asking for it. Because from what I see, it is definitely the biggest request right now in terms of expansion packs, now that seasons and pets are out of the way. But I think it would make more sense for University to be expansion pack 8, which would hopefully release in the fall, because at least for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere where The Sims is being made, then most of us are going back to school during the fall, so why not have University come out during that time? Not every single pack that comes out for The Sims 4 has the most sensible timing, but for something as popular as University, I think it'd be a great marketing move to do that. So, I don't think Expansion Pack 7 is going to be University, so that leaves out one really big idea, because at this point I don't think there's really too many easy ideas that EA can really do in terms of expansion packs. The other big one, I guess, would be a tropical paradise sort of pack, but I don't know. I'm not really sure if that would be next, because I would think that's going to be a vacation spot, since we still have only 2 of those in 5 years of The Sims 4. So I don't know if it'd be that, because it's only been a little bit over a year since we got Jungle Adventure, which added the last vacation spot. So I don't know if they're already willing to do another one that soon. And I guess some people have been saying, yeah, maybe it could be a game pack, but personally, I'd love to see a vacation spot being done in an expansion pack. It'd be interesting to see like how much bigger the world would be and how many more features that could be incorporated. Maybe it'd actually end up being used more often by players than Salvadorada and Granite Falls, because I always see a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I don't really use the vacation packs too often. It's not really much to do. It feels pretty one and done most of the time. So maybe a vacation spot in an expansion pack could break the mold in that way. I think that would be really interesting. And with a tropical pack, you could do so many things. It can easily be a full expansion pack. I'll admit, I actually was all for the idea of having a game pack that focused on scuba diving and then having it be like the jungle in Salvadorada, except with a big, deep, open ocean where you just go scuba diving and you don't have too many loading screens involved. I think that could potentially be pretty interesting, but then it's just like, well, what about all the other stuff you can do in a tropical setting? You could fit some of it into a game pack, but not a whole lot. So if a tropical paradise expansion pack was not next, what else could it be? Well, I'm seeing a decent amount of demand for farming. Definitely not as much as the tropical island, but I think a farming pack would work really well as an expansion, because if they limited that to a game pack, I think it'd have like maybe 2 animals if we were lucky, because I think a farming expansion pack could have horses, cows, chickens, pigs, and I'm forgetting one. Oh, sheep! Of course, sheep would look freaking adorable in The Sims 4 with its art style. But if it was just a game pack, then it would probably just be focused on horses and chickens or something like that. So I feel like that would not be ideal, and then that would open up the door to them splitting up animals in more packs, and we know how that went last year, so yeah. Yeah, let's just not go there. But yeah, I think a farming expansion pack would go really well with summer. I guess it could go well with fall as well, but in summer, it's like, okay, just get going on growing all of your crops and taking care of your animals during the summer. I would hope that a farming pack would focus a lot more on animals than harvestables, because I think we have a lot of harvestables in the game already. There's only 2 that I can really think of that I want. And one of those would be corn stalks, so we can have like those cornfields. And pumpkins, I think, would be really nice to have as a harvestable, because we did have them in The Sims 3 in that form. I know we have pumpkins in The Sims 4 now, technically, because of spooky stuff, but all we can do with them is carve them. So I would like to be able to do more with them, like grow them, make some pumpkin-related recipes, maybe other stuff that I can't think of, but yeah, I would really like to see pumpkins become more usable. But apart from those two, I'm completely satisfied with the harvestables that we do have right now. Especially after we got avocado with Jungle Adventure, so my Sims can grow some fresh avocado. I'm happy. So maybe we are going to get a pack that makes sense for summer, and then a pack that makes sense to have in fall, but what if it's not farming? Well, to be honest, I don't really have that many other ideas. Maybe it's just something that's going to just surprise a lot of us. I don't think that we're going to get a supernatural expansion pack. I think we're going to continue getting more occults, either in the style of vampires, where they do a deep dive on one, or we get supernaturals that are a little bit more minor, like zombies, as part of an expansion pack. We haven't had an occult and expansion pack in a long time, but I'm still not ruling that out, because I really don't think certain occults like zombies and fairies and mermaids could really hold their own individual game packs. I think it does make more sense for certain occults to still be minor features of a bigger expansion pack, because I don't think they really need a whole ton of gameplay where it justifies a whole pack on them. No offense to any fans of those occults, of course, but that's just how I feel. Also, since we've just had Strangerville as our last pack, and it's not exactly a cult, but it's still in the realm of not realistic gameplay, so I think that also gets rid of the chances of a supernatural expansion pack coming next, because, well, if that were next, I think that would really anger all of the people who are really focused on having hyper-realistic gameplay. And since I'm speaking about realistic gameplay right now, I might as well talk about the game pack, because I think it will fall into that category as well, so it's not two game packs in a row that are focusing on unrealistic stuff. And I was predicting in the past that we would get a hobbies game pack this year, and I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. I feel like that's the most likely... Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted by my own footage here. I just thought that was funny to include, but... but I do think it is pretty likely that a hobbies game pack would be the next game pack, because I think it would make a lot of sense to do something as specific as hobbies with the game pack formula, since with game packs they do focus on taking one concept and going pretty deep with it. So maybe we could have something like The Sims 2 Free Time, where they do a deeper version of the hobby system, and it would just give our Sims a lot more to do outside of work, because I feel like they have been focusing a lot on the work side of things lately. And lastly, we come to the stuff pack. Well, I don't know. You could guess almost anything and you have a chance of it being correct, because stuff packs are the most niche of anything. I mean, who would have guessed that we would have got something like movie hangout stuff, where we'd, instead of a cinema experience, get a home theater thing and bohemian themed create a sim items and objects along with it. Like, what? That is not two things that I would imagine going together. But that happened. Okay, so here's where I'm doing a last minute edit, because I actually had this video up and almost ready to go, and then this morning Moschino dropped their announcement for their Sims collaboration. Yeah, that is actually how you pronounce that clothing brand. I looked it up and everything because I wasn't 100% sure. But, yeah, these pictures are pretty interesting. This really deserves its own separate video, but wanted to throw this in here because I think this does affect my predictions. I think there is a pretty good chance of there either being a game pack that has some Moschino content in it, or maybe a stuff pack that centers around this brand, because, yeah, I think the latter is the more likely option here, because it does seem like whenever they do a collaboration like this that ends up being part of paid DLC, it is part of a stuff pack, like with IKEA stuff and what's the other one? Oh, H&M stuff for The Sims 2, and Katy Perry Sweet Treats, and Diesel stuff for The Sims 3, so I wouldn't be surprised if that still keeps happening with The Sims 4. It's like, well, guess we might know what the big collaboration stuff pack is for The Sims 4. I guess that is still going to be a thing at least once per Sims generation. And another thing is that in the Moschino press release, it does say that there's going to be more game-related announcements coming this year, so that's another factor that really makes me think that this is going to be a pack of some kind. But here's where things get a little scary for me, because here's the thing with stuff packs. Like, with the ones for The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, they rarely ever included new gameplay. They were just there to include new stuff, really, just stuff. But with The Sims 4 stuff packs, they always include new gameplay items. And I feel like in this specific case, that might actually backfire a little bit. Because if we are going to get a stuff pack that revolves around Moschino, then I feel like it might have a bit of a My First Fame stuff vibe. Because when I try to think about gameplay that would match with fashion, I instantly think about modeling. Modeling, I feel, is something that would have fit with Get Famous very well, but they didn't do that. So if modeling was the sole gameplay focus of a game pack or stuff pack, I think it'd have a similar DLC for DLC issue to My First Pet stuff. Because modeling would feel a lot less impactful, in my opinion, if you don't have the fame system from Get Famous. I would really hope EA and Maxis learned from their mistakes, but now I'm doubtful. If a Moschino stuff pack was just branded items without any new gameplay, then I think that would be pretty inoffensive. It'd be pretty similar to H&M stuff. If you don't like the brand, then you aren't missing anything noteworthy by skipping over it. But I hope I am wrong about this. If they do manage to make a pack that is centered around the Moschino brand, then I'd really want it to be something that feels like it can stand on its own, rather than feeling like it should have been part of a past pack. But one thing that I think I can cross out just right away is a community stuff pack, because if that were next, it would not be coming out within the next 6 months. It would be coming out next year, since that voting process did take a long time and everything, so yeah, it's too bad. I would have really liked stuff packs to come back with another community voted pack, because I think that would go over extremely well, especially since the last stuff pack got so much backlash, and Laundry Day, which came before it, was pretty well received overall, even though, yeah, there are people who don't like having laundry in their game. But still, like, in community polls all over the place, and even with those rankings of packs that came out within their first year that Simguru Lindsay talked about recently, Laundry Day just consistently does really well. So I'd like to believe that the majority of us do really like Laundry Day stuff. So it would just make a whole lot of sense to do another one. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling at this point. But you know what would be cool? Nautical stuff featuring seagulls. I mean, it would actually be kind of cool to have that come out in the summer. It just makes sense to have a stuff pack that adds furniture that would make sense to just go by the sea, and we did get a little bit of that with cats and dogs, I guess, but seagull themed furniture. I just can't pass up that idea. But I did actually get one really good idea from Twitter earlier today, and this comes from Devan the Simmer, because we were talking about the idea of a baby stuff pack. Initially I was against this idea, but then Devan says maybe they would put more interactions for baby in a free update, or make them more interactive, and then add extra stuff in the stuff pack, like baby's room stuff. And you know what? That would actually not be the worst idea, especially since improved babies are such a high demand in the community right now. Like, every time there's a new Maxis Monthly announced, I always see people be like, oh, maybe this is when they're going to improve the babies. So I guess this could be a good way to do it, and also have EA make some extra money off of it. And I know SimGuru Grant has expressed interest in improving babies, so I feel like that does raise the chances a little bit. So whether it even happens this year or not, I think we are going to eventually get an update for babies. I think that would be great. The sooner the better. But other than that, as far as stuff packs go, I got nothing. Feel free to leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Because, yeah, for all we know, you could actually end up correctly guessing what it is. And, well, that's pretty much it for this video. I can't believe it's this long. What the heck? Almost 20 minutes. Well, I guess that Maxis Monthly did give me a lot to talk about, and I do tend to ramble, so welcome to my channel if this is the first video that you've ever watched from me. But feel free to let me know in the comments section below what you think is going to be coming for the next 3 packs, and be sure to leave a like or a comment or even subscribe, because it lets me know that you like my channel and my videos, and it helps you keep up to date more easily with my latest stuff from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!